Have you ever opened your eyes in the middle of the night and found your cat staring directly at you? Not blinking, not moving, just sitting there in complete silence. For a few seconds, it almost feels unsettling. Are they guarding you? Waiting for breakfast? Judging your sleeping position? Or is there something much older happening? Something that began long before houses, beds, or even written history? What if I told you that this strange nighttime habit may have started more than 10,000 years ago, when humans slept beside campfires under the open sky and wildcats silently watched from the darkness? Tonight, we're traveling back to the Stone Age to uncover the forgotten history behind one of the most mysterious things cats still do today. And by the end of this story, you may never look at your cat's nighttime stare the same way again. If you enjoy discovering the hidden history behind everyday cat behaviors, make sure to like this video. It helps more cat lovers find these stories, and it lets us continue exploring the incredible journey between humans and cats. The first night watchers. Imagine Europe or the Middle East at the end of the last ice age. The world is quieter than today. Dense forests cover the hills. Herds of deer move through the valleys. Wolves roam after sunset. Human families live in temporary camps or simple shelters made from wood, stone, and animal hides. Night is dangerous. Once the fire begins to fade, every unfamiliar sound matters. Humans aren't the only creatures listening. Hidden among rocks and tall grass are small wildcats. They aren't pets. They aren't companions. They aren't interested in people. At least, not yet. Unlike wolves, these cats don't hunt in groups. They survive alone. Every movement they make is careful. Every decision could determine whether they eat or become someone else's meal. Their greatest advantage isn't strength. It's patience. A wildcat can remain perfectly still for astonishing lengths of time, quietly observing its surroundings before making a single move. This habit wasn't curiosity. It was survival. Eventually, something changed. As humans became better hunters and later began storing food, another animal appeared in large numbers: mice. For wildcats, this was an unexpected opportunity. Where there were mice, there was food. Without anyone planning it, the first silent partnership between humans and cats had begun. Cats stayed close enough to hunt rodents, but far enough away to avoid people. During the day, they watched from the edges of camps. At night, they watched something even more important: the humans themselves. Not because they loved them, because understanding human behavior helped them survive. When did people become quiet? When did fires die down? When did dogs become alert? When was it safest to hunt? Sleeping humans unintentionally created predictable routines, and wildcats became experts at reading those routines. Long before they became our companions, they became our observers. Thousands of years of silent observation. Generation after generation, the boldest cats stayed near people. The most fearful disappeared back into the wilderness. The cats that remained slowly developed an extraordinary ability. They learned to understand us. Not our language, not our thoughts, our patterns. Cats noticed that humans followed remarkably consistent schedules. People gathered around fires. People rested after eating. Children slept deeply. Older adults woke more often during the night. These observations weren't emotional. They were practical. A predictable human meant a safer environment. Scientists today often describe cats as masters of environmental monitoring. Unlike dogs, who frequently respond immediately to movement or commands, cats prefer collecting information before acting. They watch, they calculate, then they decide. This behavior has survived thousands of years because it works. Even modern house cats still rely on observation far more than most people realize. Your cat knows when you usually wake up. They recognize the sound of your breathing during deep sleep. Many even notice subtle differences between healthy sleep and restless sleep. Veterinarians and animal behavior researchers have documented countless stories of cats responding differently when their owners are sick, anxious, or recovering from illness. That doesn't necessarily mean cats understand medicine, but they're exceptional at detecting changes. a slower breathing rhythm, a different scent, small body movements, an unusual sleeping position. These details matter to a species built around careful observation. When your cat quietly sits beside your bed, it isn't always waiting for food. Sometimes it's simply gathering information the way its ancestors did beside ancient campfires. Because watching has always been safer than guessing. Here's something fascinating. Unlike humans, cats don't experience one long period of deep sleep. They naturally wake many times throughout the night. During these brief moments of alertness, scanning the environment is completely normal. If you happen to be nearby, you become part of that routine. Your sleeping body becomes another familiar landmark in your cat's nighttime world. If your cat has ever stared at you while you slept, let us know in the comments. Did they quietly sit beside your bed? Or were they already inches away from your face? Every cat owner seems to have a story, and we'd love to hear yours. Why they still do it today? Today our homes couldn't be more different from Stone Age camps. We have walls, locks, electric lights, soft beds, central heating, yet your cat still carries the instincts of an ancient hunter. Evolution doesn't erase successful behaviors overnight. It preserves them. Watching before acting remains one of the safest strategies nature ever created. When your cat sits beside your bed at 3 in the morning, several instincts may be working together. First comes security. Cats often check that everything within their territory remains normal. You are part of that territory, not as property, as family. Your presence contributes to the stability of their environment. Second comes curiosity. Cats naturally investigate even the smallest changes. If you suddenly roll over, cough, speak in your sleep, or move your hands, you've introduced something new into their world. Watching helps them decide whether that change matters. Third comes social bonding. Although cats are more independent than dogs, research continues to show that many develop strong emotional attachments to their favorite humans. Sleeping is one of the most vulnerable states any animal experiences. Remaining nearby can simply reflect comfort and trust. Some experts even compare this behavior to how related cats quietly monitor one another while resting together. Not because they're standing guard in the military sense, but because staying aware benefits everyone. There's another reason many people overlook. Cats learn every single day. Suppose your alarm rings every morning at 7. You wake up, you stretch, you head toward the kitchen. Breakfast follows. Your cat quickly builds a mental timeline connecting all those events. Eventually, simply seeing you begin to wake becomes meaningful. Sometimes they're watching because they're predicting what comes next. Not unlike how we might glance toward the front door when expecting a visitor. It's anticipation built through experience. The remarkable part is that this ancient system still functions perfectly inside modern homes. Thousands of years have passed. Cities replaced forests. Beds replaced animal hides. Nightlights replaced campfires. Yet somewhere inside, every domestic cat remains a quiet observer whose ancestors survived by paying attention to sleeping humans. So the next time you wake up and discover two glowing eyes calmly looking back at you, resist the temptation to think your cat is being strange. Instead, imagine countless generations stretching back through history. Imagine silent wildcats sitting just beyond the firelight, learning the rhythms of human life one peaceful night at a time. That silent stare isn't an accident. It's a living connection to one of the oldest friendships in human history. And perhaps that's what makes it so beautiful. Your cat isn't simply watching you sleep. They're continuing a tradition that began thousands of years before either of you ever existed. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden history behind everyday cat behaviors, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we explore the fascinating science, psychology, and ancient stories that explain why cats do the extraordinary things they do. Until next time, sleep well. And if you happen to wake during the night, don't be too surprised if your oldest little historian is already quietly watching.